I do a lot of men's work, and it's something that I've embraced because I don't know, the last few years especially, and after my father passed, I realized I didn't have a lot of close male figures in my life. I always looked at men as competition, always, and so being vulnerable with another man, no, he'll use that against me.
Welcome to the Extraordinary Being Movement, where we inspire you to take action, influence you for change, and motivate you for success. Hi, I'm your host and coach, Len DeCarmine, here with you, and we have a special show today about living life with no regrets. Dai Manuel is a super dad dating his wife with a lead by example living and a contagious personality. You guys are going to absolutely love him, who's on a mission to positively impact 1 million role models around the globe to lead a fun, fit life through education, encouragement, and community. He is an award-winning digital thought leader, author, and distinguished Toastmaster and keynote speaker, former partner of a chief operating office of a multi-million-dollar retail company, and sought-after lifestyle mentor and executive performance coach. I tell you, this guy is just absolutely amazing. Listen, Dai knows the struggles of juggling and keeping his health and happiness a priority. He models his work after the 5 F's: fitness, family, fun, finances, and overreaching roof of fun. He's built a rock-solid foundation on health, amazing nuggets of wisdom, inspiration. Let's not waste any more time. Dai, welcome to the show.
Jeez. I'm like, man, I want to come on and just do the first few minutes, like do it over and over again. Like, you guys are awesome, man. I love the energy. I can tell that you guys just have fun together. And I mean, that's really what life's all about. And I'm really excited and both honored and excited to actually be here and to connect with you three on some subjects that are near and dear to my heart and part of my story. But I have a sneaking suspicion it's probably a part of every one of our stories, especially all those that are watching or listening to this. This is the hero's journey that we're all on. And I think today there'll be some nuggets to take away for sure. I'd rather be 100 plus, kicking butt, connecting with my family, my friends, feel like I got a good sense of purpose and living a lifestyle that allows me to thrive at that age versus being those people that may be regretting a number of things that they just didn't do when they had the chance to do them.
Talk about living life with no regrets. And I think people are doing a lot of reflecting this year. Hey, things have to change. Can you share a little bit about your journey?
I was morbidly obese as a teenager, and a lot of people when they first meet me, because I'm someone that lives an active lifestyle, and as such, I'm pretty healthy, pretty fit, and people have a certain misconception often, if you judge a book by its cover. So I like to get that out of the way pretty early because I can really relate. The empathy I feel for people that feel stuck or feel like things aren't getting better. I know at 14 when I was at my lowest, it was hard. Everything was hard, especially a 14-year-old boy. Life is challenging enough, but then you throw the hormones in there and gosh, high school and everything else. It just compounds things, either positively or negatively. So it took about 20 months to really shift and change my life. And, it was either choosing a path of staying as I was, but to be quite frank, I was way more scared of that future than I was of a future of figuring out a way of doing things differently. And I think that's really what it often comes down to many of us, right? We come to that path where there's a fork in the road and we're faced with two choices. It's like we either keep doing what we're doing or try something new. Both are fearful. There's a lot of fear for both, but I was less afraid of trying to figure out how to do things differently than I was of the future potential. And so that was a valuable lesson in my life, which I've applied a number of other times as I've come to different challenges. I always try to, remember that change is always possible. It's going to happen whether I like it or not, but I like to try to be in front of it, try to have a proactive role in change. And it's both empowering, also very satisfying and fulfilling when you actually start to take certain actions and start to see these positive shifts start to happen, these transformations, these results, which we manifest for ourselves a lot of the time. And I'll be honest with you, I had a lot of help, and I don't want to pretend that I did it on my own. I had great coaches. I had some mentors. I had people that really cared about me and were willing to extend a hand back when I put my hand forward and asking for help. And I'll never forget that.
Hey, Dai.
Yeah.
Hey, Dai, how did you come up with that mindset?
It's a work in progress. And I'll be honest with you, Fred, like it's a choice, right? Like, man, I have my down days too. And I think a lot of us have had a lot of down days this year. Things have not gone to plan, to say the least. I remember the first couple months of this year, I was forecasting to have the best year ever since leaving my corporate position. And it was, 5 years in the making. I was like really excited, highly optimistic. And then, February, March happened and I was like, whoa, okay, well, there went 80% of the forecasted revenue I had for the year. I was like, whoa, okay. Then I had a pity party, for a few days. I moped around. I was like, oh no, the sky is falling. But then, because of all the work, both personal and professional development and just that constant trying to improve and develop and really live into who I envisioned I was going to be as I aged, so it's a choice. The long and short of it, Fred, is it's always a choice. I can look for the optimistic side or I can look at the pessimistic side. I do have a bias to be more optimistic. I know that, but I prefer that than the alternative.
In my experience, a lot of people are usually reactive before they learn to become proactive. We tend to only do things until things are like the fire under our ass gets hot enough. You're not doing that. What makes you so different?
Well, I shouldn't say I don't do that, because there are definitely moments where I've done what a number of us will do. I was like, I could do that today, but tomorrow's just as good. and tomorrow, and so I do have a gift of accepting procrastination into my life at times. And I also know how that makes me feel. And especially those little voices in my own mind that are highly judgmental are very quick to cut me down. And so I know I don't like that. And so knowing that I have certain tendencies, especially when certain types of pressures, stress, overwhelm creeps in, and I've not done the little things to help mitigate those, like my daily fitness, my movement, getting up for a walk, connecting with my family, just little basic things that really don't cost me any money. It takes a little bit of time, a little bit of energy, but I know if I'm doing these little things every day, the big challenges, when they present themselves, they honestly don't seem as big, or at least I'm able to navigate myself around them a little bit more effectively. And so that's what I sort of mean by the proactive approach is like, I know if I'm doing certain things and I do these repeatedly and establish a lifestyle around it, like I've been able to with certain rituals in my life, that even when change presents itself to me, it's like, okay, I knew this was going to come. Maybe not in this form, but I knew change was always in front of me. Because Buddha said it like 2,500 years ago, pretty wise dude, under a tree. It's like, yeah, this too shall pass. And I used to always think that meant the bad things in life, right? Yeah, all the struggles, all the challenges, all these missed opportunities. Oh my goodness. Well, don't worry. Buddha said this will pass. And he's right. Yeah, all these bad things, I'll get past them and I'll keep on living. But he was also talking about the good stuff, and that awareness and mindfulness of being present in the moment to enjoy life for what it is right now. That's what I'm always working on. Discipline versus commitment. And I do know that at periods in my own life, it took a lot of discipline to be consistent, to create the ritual, create the habit. And I needed a lot of structure in those early stages. I needed the structure. I needed it to be as black and white as possible. I needed the checklist. I needed my little dopamine hits, knowing that I'm getting the stuff off my list. And I needed that structure when I was getting started. And I find a lot of people, when they're trying to create new habits, especially if it's habits to overwrite some that they're wanting to replace or do away with, we start going into like neuroscience and neuroplasticity. We know it's possible. We can rewire our brains, but the deeper those habits are, the longer it takes, the more consistent effort we have to be. And so this idea of discipline at the beginning, when you're first starting to establish this, say, a morning routine, for myself, it used to be almost militant with it, like it was, okay, alarm's going off. I'm up out of bed. I'm doing my checklist. And what I did find that after a few years of being that structured, I eventually got to a point where I just started to do things without really thinking about them. It really became more lifestyle than even a habit. Like it just became automatic. And now I'm at a point though where I know certain things. I know how to do the, this is funny. Like I'll use a reference here, but not everybody will get this one. Control Alt Delete, right? Like I say that to my kids and they're like, what are you talking about, Dad? And I have to talk, well, it's like hard resetting your phone. Okay. Like, I'm totally dating myself here. It's like when I told them when I was 14, I went to the library, got books out on fitness and nutrition. My kids are like, why don't you just Google it, Dad? I'm like, your dad's older than Google. There you go. Like, but regardless, this idea of a hard reset, I know that there's certain things I can do that will always help me immediately shift into a more positive energy from a negative energy that I'm in. And that includes fitness, meditation, walking, connection with the right person. When I say the right person, there's certain people that I have certain levels of vulnerability with, that I've established that level of trust with. And sometimes being able to just say it. I'm not looking for anything. I'm not looking for any support, but just to be able to say it to somebody without fear of judgment, without someone giving me some prescription for fixing it. Just being able to say it to somebody else. I do a lot of men's work, and it's something that I've embraced because I don't know, the last few years especially, and after my father passed, I realized I didn't have a lot of close male figures in my life. I always looked at men as competition, always. And so being vulnerable with another man, no, he'll use that against me. No way, I can't do that. No, I don't trust you. I may say I trust you. You might call you a friend, but I don't really trust you. And I realized that I just had this habit of just instantly judging men. Without even knowing.
Sure.
And based on some of these shifts that I've wanted to make over the last few years, just getting around men I can be safe with and literally just share openly and not have any fears attached to that. It's, we can call it an exercise in vulnerability, and we all have the capability of being vulnerable. It's just, there's a certain amount of trust and safety and assurance, that it's okay. We're okay. I'm okay,